Hello, it's Culture Cove again, right here, reaching you from Huge Network. As always, we're here to talk about preserving the arts, culture, and so much more. The conversation always continues here, and we do try to keep it fun as well as cultural. As always, I am Amadine Ubewe. I have a number of persons with me in the house. As always, we have Paul Oladipupo to my far right, who's about to say something about how he's a king or whatnot.
I was about to shock you that I won't, do all of that today. But thank you for recognizing me. It's fine. Sure. It's nice that I'm matching outfits.
One day we'll see your subjects because you're always alone.
Or your kingdom.
I think Ned, we need to take you guys on a road trip to my kingdom so you explore.
All right, thank you. You sponsor it, but anyway.
No issue.
We have also Omokafe Dennis. He's back again. Omokafe.
Thank you
You're
very
back
much.
Like you never left.
I'm back like I never left. But people need to actually answer the question: when was this meeting done? White.
We will
continue later.
What's going on?
Why did we exclude the only woman? Paul.
Can you imagine?
Paul's idea.
See, this is gender.
You are the king, so take the blame now.
I think it is you as the town crier that did not do your job.
We need to sue that town crier and both of you.
Before we continue, we have a special guest in the house. He is known across the media space as a content creator, a book reviewer, a movie reviewer, a cultural preservator, if that is a word, he will confirm it for us. I'm talking about, I want to say his name before I go to his nickname, which people know him by. His name is Anthony Ikechukwu Chielo, but you popularly know him as IkeGod. How are you doing?
I am good. It's so good to be here. I heard so much about Culture Cove.
Thanks so much for coming.
It's so good to be here.
Thanks so much.
And thanks for sticking to theme on like the black sheep and
right. Actually.
Wow!
Well, Mokafe, we did send that memo.
You did not send any
mails.
You see, Africans don't like to read.
They don't.
That's the issue.
No, you will not use that.
You want to hide something from an African and put this in a book. Or in this case, an email.
I'll get my lawyers for you people, don't worry.
Nice homage there to
Afrobeat
legend.
Exactly.
Yes.
Legendary.
So he's with us here. Anyway, speaking about, legendary, let's talk about civilizations. There's an International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations now, and the Chinese Embassy in Nigeria, particularly the Chinese Cultural Center, celebrated this just some time ago. That's how we start our first segment before we move over to others. So let's take a look at what happened. We were out and about, and we were there to see what's happening as regards this. Let's take a look, and when we return, we'll talk about it.
At the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, the People's Republic of China proposed the resolution for a day to mark the International Day for Dialogue among Civilizations to promote peaceful relationships. This was adopted in 2024. Following this development, the Chinese Embassy in Nigeria held the inaugural event themed Conversation and Connection to commemorate the day, which holds on 10th of June. The event held at the Chinese Cultural Center in Abuja alongside the United Nations, Athens, and others to mark its maiden celebration. Speaking at the event, the Chargé d'Affaires of the Chinese Embassy in Nigeria, Zhang Yi, emphasized the need for advancement in the diplomatic and peaceful relationship among nations of the world to avoid war and conflict, citing music and dance as a unifying tool that sparks dialogue.
Language. In traditional Chinese culture, the term 知音 symbolizes deep mutual understanding and true friendship. Such connection is rare and can only be achieved through sincere dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, last year President Tinubu successfully visited China and attended the Beijing summit of FOCAC. The two heads of states jointly agreed to upgrade our bilateral relationships to a comprehensive strategic partnership. This year marks the launch of the twin partnership actions for modernization to deepen China-Africa cooperation. Practical cooperation between China and Nigeria in various fields is progressing steadily, and the cultural exchanges are a important part which help fostering mutual understanding and lasting friendship.
The Foreign Minister of China, Wang Yi, also emphasized the need to strengthen deep mutual understanding and true friendship, via sincere dialogues among civilizations.
文明没有高下优劣之分，要尊重各国人民自主选择的发展道路和社会制度，拒绝文明冲突，反对干涉内政，抵制单边霸凌，维护公平正义，共享平等自由。要坚持真正的多边主义，支持联合国为文明对话发挥重要作用，以合作取代对抗，以共赢取代联合，坚守不同文明和平共处之道。第二，让我们做文明交流的建议性质。国际社会要加强交流互鉴，通过文明对话汲取破解。
Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Art, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Mukhtar Yawali Mohammed, represented by the Assistant Director at the Ministry in Seno, while speaking at the culturally themed event, expressed delight about the peaceful, beneficial and creatively enriching transactions between Nigeria and China. She cited examples of Nollywood and technological exchange between both countries with a further pledge to do more.
The Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy pledges to deepen this covenant of civilizations. We will launch the Nigerian-China Creative Corridor, a platform for joint ventures in film, music, all-driven arts and heritage preservations. Through scholarships, artist residencies, and co-production agreements and memorandum of understanding, we will turn dialogue into tangible opportunity. For when civilization converse, they don't just exchange ideas, they co-author destiny.
The gathering had in attendance representatives of diplomatic missions from the United Kingdom, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Spain, Russia, Nigeria, Iraq, Australia, and others. Dialogue among civilizations promotes peace, understanding, and progress through mutual respect and shared human values, and should therefore be adopted by all. The event would express the beauty of our cultural exchanges and expressions can promote unity and diversity among nations of the world despite language barriers, is an eye-opener on how countries of different continents and orientations can relate.
It's so heartwarming there. The way it's ended.
This part especially.
And I hope they noticed our Chinese sister on the left. She was
Yeah, she
actually
was
singing.
yeah.
It was very
Even the
well.
man, so she just beats her.
Yeah, indeed. So what do you guys have to think about? Have to say about this? International Day for Dialogue among Civilizations.
Yes.
IkeGod, what do you say about that?
I think it's very important, right? Because I'm should I say diplomat, or I love dialogue so much because I feel like it's not every time violence now. I mean, let's come and talk,
Yes.
right? Because it's in the talking that we share our experiences, right? Because I always believe that human beings, even though we are sort of like different racially or, with where we are from, there are certain traits that are the same, right? There are certain experiences that are the same, right?
Yes.
And sometimes we don't know to get those experiences except we have dialogue. And I think that's why I think this is really beautiful and very important.
It's so wonderful just from where you stop saying that we'll see how we're so connected when we begin to talk with each other. I mean, we meet friends and then we start sharing experiences of probably when we're growing up and then we notice that at the end of the day, exactly, I also do that thing as well. And then that's how it always works. And it's one thing I really love to see when two countries come together is how they connect. And one way that what we just seen now shows is how they connected through music. And music, we always say, is a universal language, and indeed it is. I mean, today now we see people of different color, people who speak different languages singing Afrobeats like it's their own, and that is what music can do, and that's one of the things that was highlighted. And that one again is movies. I mean, we've seen countries come together to make bangers. I mean, see the likes of Rush Hour, for example. Here in Nigeria also we have Namaste Wahala.
Yes.
Like you see where
India and Nigeria
coming together.
Bollywood and
exactly. And
you can imagine the whole dance and then action.
And there's actually another Nigerian movie again, but I just can't remember that one.
There's a series called Postcards.
Yes, with Abraham Sadao and the rest of them. Yes.
Exactly. So it's just so lovely to see countries connect like this through the smallest of things. I mean, movie, music, and then it just brings joy and happiness.
In fact, even at the event, you would have seen that there was a particular song that was sung, but it was not just the song alone, the dance, then the people playing the instruments. So it was like Chinese people with a mixture of Nigerians, and then Nigerians and a mixture of Chinese people playing the instruments and dancing. So it was not just the song alone, but then they were like, how do you cannot even imagine how Nigerians.
And I think when we say International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations, the dialogue doesn't specify language, and so that language can be a universal one, like music or dance. Because what happened at the event was that there was some delay. So if let's say if this event was an 8-hour event, 7 hours of it was spent on music and dancing. And so it shows that there was some level of communication going on, but it didn't necessarily have to be speaking English and all of that. So I think people communicate in different kinds of ways. And like you said, you would be so shocked the amount of problem you can avoid just by talking. Communication. Because these things you think is small, it happens in relationships. Small issues like this.
That's how Paul broke up with his last girlfriend. He was not communicating.
Paul, you need to talk.
You need to learn how to talk. Yes.
Don't worry, you defend yourself later.
Let me adjust.
But that aside, if you can see what lack of communication can do between two people alone somewhere. Imagine what it does to two countries, two nations.
I mean, two countries is too far, two communities, two families.
So let's just talk first. Before anything, let's talk. Because the key message there was we need to avoid conflict. We need to avoid all sorts of trouble, war. Especially because, our governments, like I said before, governments have such little percentage in the totality of the population of the country. So one leader here and another leader here, issues that perhaps both of you would have fought it out. You've carried your countries with yourselves. Let's just talk, okay?
It's not about fighting it out. You could have just had it, like, questions.
Exactly. Just talk about
by sipping tea and then everything just goes on like that.
So that's another language, sipping tea. But anyway, we'll go on a break now. When we return, we'll delve into our second segment of the program. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
So welcome back. It's still Culture Cove right here on Hued Network. We're delving now into our second segment, relation to arts, music, movie, fashion. So let's hear from Omokafe. What do you have for us today?
Okay, so unlike other time when we get to take you people to different countries and the rest, this time around we decided to come back home.
It's happening here.
It's happening right here. So I'm taking all of you home. So the African Magic Viewer Stories Award recently happened, the 11th edition, by the way. So you see that we're getting somewhere. It's very similar to the Met Gala, which they have, but trust me, Nigeria own, it beat town, always beating it. So it happened, and there was a theme for it. It was called Mother Earth. Now, when it comes to Mother Earth, Africa most times is, we are the Mother Earth now. What else? All the resources you are looking for. It's right here. So everything, and our faves, of course, had to come represent. Now, our faves in music, in the art industry, comedy, skit makers, all of those ones, they were all right right there, and they came to show us some very beautiful pictures, and some came to show us some very worst, some very worst pictures. So we had some people come. We had Liko Rose, we had Charles from Ghana. We had this is Liko Rose. Liko Rose actually won the best cultural representation of that particular team, and she also won it again for the best dress in the should I say, let's call it the English representation, because it was not just wearing the African representation, but the English representation of Mother Earth. She also won it.
But she looks like a seed, though.
She does.
These are fishes.
Yeah.
So is that Earth?
It's not. I'm looking at the details.
Mother
I think so.
Well,
I mean,
the ocean is
That is why she won it. You know, she gave a very beautiful representation. Like just take a good look at the details. In fact, we need to dobale for the fashion designers.
Indeed,
like,
those guys need their flowers.
like
Is
a very,
this Vicky James?
I don't think so.
I doubt.
Very deep. Probably it was what's her name? Prudential Atelier, because
probably,
she is Prudential Atelier also made her second dress for the other dress for the next particular event.
Paul, did you have a standout, by the way? Or
For me, like Licoro's dress was so lovely. I mean, seeing fishes representing the ocean is so lovely. And I mean, one cloth that stood out for me was Doyin Davis' clothes. So amazing, had roots on it, and all of that. It shows that how Africa is actually the root of Mother Earth, and
this was my favorite.
It speaks so much.
Fave.
You know,
greenery and everything.
Yes, Doyin's picture was actually very similar to that of Osasi Godaro, because both of them came out in green, and then they also represented roots, trees, and everything. But she decided to represent the branches. You like spreading, trying to get all the whole nutrients, and then spreading it out.
Easy about it.
And then we have one of
this
Nollywood's
Messi Igwe, yes?
Yes,
Messi Igwe.
Messi
I'd like to
Igwe.
get your interpretation of this IkeGod. What do you think you are seeing?
I think I'm seeing half moon.
Okay.
Right?
That's exactly.
Seeing stars.
Yeah.
So it just feels like she's like the galaxy embodying everything.
And the sun too.
Yeah, and the sun. So it's like the entire galaxy.
I would argue that she's the one doing too much, not Licorice.
Really?
Not
Doing too
Papaya.
much.
How so?
Because this is it. What is the theme again?
Mother Earth.
Where do you find banana?
Yes.
Now, where do you find the constellation and the moon and the sun?
I'm not saying she should win the best dress.
Because of the
You
box.
see,
But I mean, you can see that.
but you see, for me, this dress is more like night meets day, you know, and that's one of the qualities of Earth,
Earth?
actually. Like, it's one of the things you see in Earth. So exactly, without the sun,
I love
there
this.
won't be green.
interpretation.
See,
Exactly.
Amadi is beginning to and then
Please take it away.
we have this guy.
No, okay,
We have our Ghanaian brother.
okay.
I see.
I
What
see
he's
now.
doing.
I mean, I
It's
understand.
legendary.
I understand, but
No,
calm
this is
down.
doing
too
That
much
is
too.
the better way.
Is this Desmond Elliot?
This
No,
is not
it's
Desmond
not.
Elliot. Desmond Elliot had an elephant in front of his. This one decided to carry,
Who is this?
you know. He's from Ghana. His
from
name is
Ghana.
His
Okay,
name is Chris.
I actually didn't know about him,
So
but
it's
Yes.
paying homage to our
To our
legend.
legend.
indeed,
I feel
I do miss
that.
all of these people.
Yeah, I
on,
do.
that was
All of these
so
things are
better.
legendary. Like,
Yeah.
all of them.
We have
I think-
Cynthia there, we have Amadi there, we have Ada Ame, we have Sam Loko, we have
Yeah,
Rachel
I miss
Onga.
Sam Loko.
And these people
Loko.
they were
It's
beautiful
just-
people on our
yeah,
screens.
yeah.
Like very beautiful
For
people on
them,
our screens.
for
yeah.
them,
Sam was
we
effortless.
will appreciate this.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
appreciate
okay.
it. No
Yeah.
wala.
Maybe.
Because of them.
I think
Because of
I
them.
feel, you know, sometimes people they play mind games. You know, when you are doing something risky.
Exactly.
People
That's what
Yeah.
Reminds
that
me-
was the goal.
Reminds me of back then in school when some of the backseat students, you know, would want to do something, and they would need Amadine to come and be the face of it.
Amadi,
Because
why are you showing
if they
yourself?
catch us,
They
can just put Amadine.
Amadine.
I say, okay, so-
But you know that Amadi he used a very subtle way to try to tell us that he used to carry face
I
in
wasn't.
class.
I didn't say first
it
though.
was just a good boy.
but
That
guess-
innocent
But
face.
Guess
Yeah.
what? But guess what? I did take first.
What did I tell you? It was just
So okay,
please,
let's
please,
see. Let's
please.
see.
This guy.
Let's see what.
He's another person that does extra.
He's giving me a head.
Honestly,
like
this
headache.
is-
Pretty Mike.
Mother Earth. I can go back to the thing.
this
I'm
Mother
asking.
Earth?
I'm asking.
How?
Amadi,
No.
how is this Mother
This
Earth?
is AI. It's thinking of the future.
Somebody on Twitter said, X, He said that this guy just decided that okay, he's going to go to one welder in Aba market. Something.
But
And then
That's
he
why. I
realized
mean, I get the creativity.
Yes.
I mean, I love the effort that he puts in
so
it.
much
but
effort. So come
I
on.
don't know.
You see, it's one thing to put so much effort and then it comes out like this. I mean, stick to the theme. That's the very basic thing
Basic
to
thing.
do.
I
Like,
think
but can
Yes.
we try a mental exercise? If you had to
Okay.
stretch your imagination to fit this into the theme, how would
future
you
of the
fit it in?
Earth.
In a robotic movie.
It's like the future of the earth.
Yes. Or
like
a
future of the
sci-fi,
Earth, most likely.
premiere. If you're going to premiere one movie like that,
sci-fi film or
just you
something.
wear it and you probably stand out in a
We
beautiful
could
way.
call to some, more sustainable development issues, with calling to how Africa is used as a place for mining of raw materials. It's a stretch. It's a stretch.
See, that's the thing.
that
He's
angle
not
now,
wearing it as a means
that.
of advocacy.
Yeah.
Right? He's
more
not.
like-
He's like.
It's the reverse.
Yes, exactly.
What if
I was
he-
trying to stretch it and help him out.
What if he's
on.
saying that in our earth you can find this as
Yes.
well?
Exactly.
Then he would have showed us. He would have showed us like a
Layers.
Yes, probably maybe the
should be more
underneath of it
detailed.
is like the ground or brown earth, and then above it is like the iron core.
Indeed.
What
You
would
have
have
sense.
made a lot
That's
of
it.
sense.
In all of this, though,
Yeah.
I really have to give kudos to the designers and
no,
stylists
yes,
and all of that.
yes.
Because guess what? Before the AMVCA, there was the Met Gala, if I'm not mistaken. And the expectations, that theme was black, or is it culture?
Black
Black
something.
elitism,
something
Yes,
like that.
so
Black
we
culture.
expected
Black
a lot.
dandyism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah,
Dandy.
and it was okay. But when the AMVCA came around, it was like, this was what we were looking for.
Exactly.
We had to try it for
Yeah.
good reasons.
And I really hope that we can, although, when we explained it for Met Gala, apparently the designers have to buy a table and spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So someone like Vicky James, imagine having to spend millions of dollars to get that. It's not really feasible.
Yeah.
But I do hope things like this begin to spotlight them so that people know that there's things in Nigeria. So before you go to that designer somewhere,
Out
you want to
there.
go and pay millions of dollars. I mean, if you are coming to Vicky James, bring your millions of dollars
Yeah,
too.
of course, now.
But you know that you are getting enough quality for your money.
Like, for me, this Met Gala is one that is actually different from what
Met
we've
Gala
seen.
or AMVCA?
What is thinking?
Like, I'm thinking so big right now. Like this AMVCA is one that is very different from what we've been seeing all along. We've been seeing usually their clothes are always very regular without stories, but now we have designers even coming out to tell us the stories of how
Behind
they made
the
their
dress.
clothes. Exactly, and this year's one is different from other years because here I actually had international recognition as well with people commenting on how people wore the clothes, what the clothes meant, and
How
all
they
of that.
carried it.
Exactly.
And I think this is something I love with Nollywood and even where we are going to. Like prior to now, years before now, we didn't have conversations about our films or our fashion or whatnot, right? But with how we've grown and where we are heading, now we are talking about AMVCA
Yes,
now.
yeah,
We
exactly.
wouldn't, there were times
talk
we
about
would not
it.
do that,
Yes.
right? And I think big ups to everybody
Yes,
involved, like the
yes.
actors, the fashion designers, and all of that. It's just,
You
it's just
really touched
beautiful.
something for me. And
I'm
I
at his
want
heart.
to beg the AMVCAs, please keep it up. Just continue. Because when it comes to music, I won't mention any names, but there were talks about a specific award
Yes.
being the shining light for Africa.
And then it just
and then
went.
we didn't know what really happened there. But we've seen consistently the AMVCA keeps putting effort, and we just need it to continue and keep it here. You don't have to
Take
go
it
to
like
do too
that.
much.
Don't do too much.
And
Don't do
stuff.
everything.
I have some biases with the people that win the AMVCAs, but just the fact that it's happening here in
I don't
Nigeria
want to go there.
and all of that.
At least the event as almost like a cultural entity now should
Let
just
everyone
keep on.
look up to it.
Yeah, indeed. And I have an AMVCA winning director as a personal friend. She also
Oh, please,
directed
please, please.
my short story into a short film.
Can we go?
Can we go ahead? Thank you very much.
Anyway, let's go to our final segment of the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
Welcome back. It's still Culture Cove. Now we're we're trying to take a look at a specific cultural practice right here on Earth. we're not going out. So, Paul, what do you have for us?
Okay, so here on Earth, I mean, we've all seen twins here and there, you know, but there's this particular town in Igbo-Ora, local government there in Oyo State, and the town's name is Igbo-Ora. It's a town that has been called the home of twins, and the reason is because they have so many twins that are usually giving birth to them. I mean, a twin gives birth to a twin, a twin gives birth to a twin. So it's more like my forefathers were twins. I also give birth to a twin. I am also a twin. And that's how it's always like there.
There's a high prevalence of twins.
Like very high prevalence. And it's so much in their genes so much that even if you as a person goes to marry from there, the likelihood of you giving birth to a twin is so much higher.
Wow,
Exactly.
When I hear things like this, I just always want science to come in. Sometimes when people differentiate between how civilizations move, they say, with Africans, we have this oral tradition, we pass this down by words. But what we used to see then with the advent of the printing press is that whatever happens here is replicated, across board. So what I would like to see is not in a way that has a lot of consent. You don't just come and start that. But I would like to see some sort of explanation for that.
Why
people going there?
I do have one. Somebody somewhere did a research and said it was a particular yam species that they usually eat.
Are you serious?
In that place. That some people get to travel far and wide to come there to eat that yam so that they can give birth to twins.
So where's the location?
Just like I said, Igbo-Ora local government.
And it's really interesting that Omokafe's research went that far. So you know about the yam.
Is it called Ainama?
You're hiding updates too.
Don't worry, I will give you people serious updates.
So it's interesting though, and I think things like this, we were talking about tourism the other day. This stuff like people would come in droves just to come and see what's going on here, and it's an interesting one. I think it's enough to put places like this on the map.
I think I saw I think the first time I heard about this was from Nas Daily. I don't know if you know Nas Daily. He's this guy that does like a 1 minute video. He did like 1,000 videos. I posted 1 minute video for 1,000 days, right? Wow. And I think one of those videos is that he visits countries across the world, and somehow he shot a video in that town. I think that's the first time I heard about it.
I things like this. I think this is where the media and other things come in, because this could be the thing. We talked about tulips the other day. Imagine having twins. It's crazy everywhere. Well, anyway, I think that's how we round off this segment. We will end with our wise saying of the day. So let's take a look and let's see what we have for today. All right. So, Ike, can you take it forward, please?
If life they show you pepper, my guy, make pepper soup.
Word.
Word. No, drops mic.
Drop the mic.
So what do you think about it? It might seem straightforward, but then people really would like to hear perspectives.
So just the way they say, if gives you oranges, lemons make lemonades, right? It's just, and I'm always a firm believer of, work with what you have, right? Do create or whatnot with what you have, right? That's the situation you find yourself, right? You cannot stay stalling because you're hoping for something big to change, right? So for instance, if you are like me and you want to start content creation, for instance, right? And you have not an iPhone, for instance, like an Android phone. No shades to Android. But you have like an Android phone. Personally for me, I would say start with that, right? Because what you do is that you are building resilience by doing that. And you are learning so that when the big thing comes, right, it's easier for you to just transition, right? And for me, that's basically how my journey started, right? I didn't start with using the iPhone 13 Pro Max I'm using to create content, right? I started with an itel phone, right? So imagine editing videos with an iPhone and how difficult it is, you know. And it's all of those things that sort of like build resilience, that shape the kind of person or creator that you become or that I am today. So so if like shows you pepper, I mean, make pepper soup.
Pepper soup.
Yeah.
Amazing. That was such a perfect instance of explaining how it goes. And, you know, really, I will take up my content creation. At least I have more than ITEL. So if you can do it at ITEL, I'm inspired to do more.
Yes,
See? You can add
There's
quotes
this
to it.
there's this funny video that goes, if this country did it, this one did it, this one too did it, and then it goes, this one too did it. So you can do it as well. But this one is not, you can do it. He did it, you too did it. Okay, but in this sense here, making pepper soups here from pepper is more like, I have something around me, but I want more.
Yeah.
And then I'm complaining that because I don't have that thing that is more than what I have at the moment, I'd rather just sit down and then does not do anything. And that, in the place of not doing anything, you just remain there and not move on. But if you should start with what you have, obviously there will be opportunities for you to move on, to progress from where you are. If you're not creative at the end of the day, I think that's the main thing, being creative with all of the things you find around. Because even if that one that you're even expecting self, you might get it today.
Yes.
And then tomorrow, there's a new one that is far better than what you have.
When you talked about the resilience, because
So,
if you couldn't do it with something smaller,
Is it
How
a big
about
thing
that?
that
You
you
know, opportunity does not find you when you're just sitting down.
so once
Opportunity
again,
finds you.
if IkeGod did it, you too
can
did
do
it.
So for me, I think it's about not just using what you have. It's about using something that on its own doesn't seem so amazing. Now, when you mention lemon, and when we mention pepper, these things on their own. Have you seen these videos of babies eating lemon? So on its own, it might not, but any lemon flavored thing bangs. Like it's always very great. Lemon flavor is one of my favorite flavors. Now pepper. Imagine taking just pepper and although maybe pork. Okay, no, actually pork is not. Is anti-pepper.
Can you imagine? And you are shaming your people.
But that being said, imagine taking raw pepper. Let's say even if it's not the plant, the powdered one, and just rubbing pepper in your. It doesn't. Yeah. But pepper in pepper soup.
It bangs.
Yes.
A lot.
Lemon on its own is okay.
Yeah.
Lemonade. Amazing. So it's not just for you to look at what you have. Look at the thing that you have that you don't think is amazing. It's just, but if you combine it with, other things, you join it and all that, you get something beautiful.
So sometimes it's not about thinking outside the box.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to look inwards
So
and check inside.
Waiting they find for Sokoto. The program for today. I do hope you've had a great time. I certainly have. I've been here with Mokafe, IkeGod, and Paul Oladipupo. See you next time on Culture Cove every Saturday 9 a.m. Bye for now.